Hey everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play the Talos Principle. Who's ready for more puzzles today? I know I am. I'm gonna look around here first, though. We've got a... so this lock corresponds with that collection of yellow sigils we've been building up. And there's yet another one over here. And we can use the ones that we collected for the other one over here, oddly enough, even though it's pointing to a completely different set that we haven't even collected yet. At any rate, though, we can see some elements here encased in these glass tubes, though we don't really know what they are yet. Whatever that they are, though, I'm sure that will become more apparent as time goes on. Let's take another look at that sign here. We can see all the puzzles and the star that we solved and got marked off. I'm going to visit the others here in a minute, but first, I'm going to draw your attention to a couple of things. Well, three things, actually. One of them involves this, which appears to be another one of those gates, but this one's behind a wooden barred area, or gate thing. This seems to be kind of a map of all the different zones. I guess these are all the different sigils you can get in each zone. This gate corresponds with the A set of symbols we've been collecting. And then over here...
There are mysteries in my garden, hidden roads and secret gates. If you dedicate yourself to understanding them, you may join the host of messengers.
Cool. This area is where you will be able to use your stars. And one of the stars we've gotten, but there's other ones that we still have yet to collect. And you can also see that these puzzles that involve arranging the tetrominoes are getting more and more complicated as time goes on. So we'll get to that later, but for now, I'm just going to go ahead and go on to area number 2. Now, it's worth noting, I'm just going to go ahead and say right now, I'm going to try to spend at least one video per area. If we happen to get through each area pretty quickly, I might do 2, but we'll see how it goes.
Let this be our covenant. These worlds are yours, and you are free to walk amongst them and subdue them. But the great tower, there you may not go. For in the day that you do, you shall surely die.
I know what I'm doing then. Alright, what do we got here? No local discs, huh? Axis comm portal? Can we... Okay. Let's run this troubleshooter, why not? Alright, so the library assistant is back. Okay, cool. Troubleshooting. Okay. So we don't have a password. Let's try just entering something random here. Or not so random, I should say. Let's try God. Nope. I'm assuming there's a limit. There we go. So let's create a new account. Well, we are a bot, right? Or are they talking about a different kind of bot? Alright, so let's see what we got here. Time is a factor in the assessment, so let's try not to think too hard about this. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Subjective reaction to this image, I will go with face, because that looks like a face. What best describes a person? A human being, why not? Oh, so we've got a moral question here. You're walking through the desert and have come across a thirsty traveler. His eyes bulge from slow dehydration. You have water, but you're not sure how far it is to the next oasis. What do you do? Collect his blood in a flask for later. Offer half the water. Alright, so we can take part 2 of the test later on. And we've got more resources here. ian.email, or Ian. From Frank Gatai, to Miles Gatai and Dan Gatai. Subject, Ian! My first day at the Institute for Applied Nomadics. I guess that's what Ian stands for. On the way to work, I am terrified. What if they don't like me? What if they're all geniuses and I'm a complete buffoon? Maybe they were just kidding about letting me work there? Trembling, I walk in, and right at the entrance there's a life-size poster of Jeff Goldblum. What the hell? Then I get it. Institute for Applied Nomadics. Ian. Dr. Ian Malcolm from the Jurassic Park movies. Jeff Goldblum. Dr. Sarabhai shows up, smiling. We were trying to find a cool acronym back when the Institute was founded, she says. Einen, Ipen, Inopno, it all sounded stupid, but we didn't just want to call it Ian because, well, that's a name. Then someone made a joke about calling it Jeff, and it kind of stuck. So we're officially called Ian, but if you ever hear anyone referring to Jeff, that's our internal name, I guess. I know, bloody geeks. Athena Analysis.html. User Alex16 added 4 notes. Note 1. And novel's first sentence, she woke up in an impossible place knowing nothing. Signifies more than the beginning of another amnesia-based mystery, though we should not go far as to read the entire work as allegory. Rather, while taking the science-fictional novice at the core of the narrative at face value, we should... Note 2. Having no inherent knowledge of the nature of the world, forced to rely on what we are told by others and what our own subjective, flawed, limited senses tell us, social reality, belief, and objective reality, matter, come into conflict. Note 3. When in Chapter 16, A Second Awakening in the Kingdom of Artemis, the protagonist questions her mentor on the... Note 4. A more meaningful interpretation can only be achieved through synthesis of... Alright, and it's Talos principle.text. Archive 260 BCE.-F12 Straton of Stadgira. Whether it is true that Daedalus constructed the giant Talos, or as others say he was the creation of Hephaestus, what we may be certain of is that he was made of bronze, and had but one vein within which flowed a liquid substance like blood, which some claim was quicksilver, and others assert was ichor, such as flows in the veins of the gods. The loss of that liquid caused him to die, as a man dies when he loses his blood. May we not then say that Talos, though created as a machine or a toy, had all the essential properties of a man? He moved of his own volition, he spoke and could be spoken to, had wishes and desires. Indeed, in the tale of the Argonauts, that was the cause of his downfall. If then a machine may have all the properties of a man, and act as a man while driven only by the ingenious plan of its construction, and the interaction of its materials according to the principles of nature, then does it not follow that man may also be seen as a machine? This contradicts all the schools of metaphysics, yet even the most faithful philosopher cannot live without his blood. Interesting thoughts. Alright. I will, by the way, not be commenting too much on all this. I'm going to let you draw your own conclusions, so feel free to do that. I'm going to save that yellow one for last. I'm going to try to go from easiest to hardest, assuming that these are difficulty marked. Hall of Windows. Alright. Let's look around here and see what we've got to do. We've got more of these peephole-like things, which are probably the windows. And in here we've got a jammer, but this jammer can only reach to places that are accessible via line of sight from this area. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is open that up. There's also that, which we could also open up from in there. I think I'm going to leave that there, and then move this guy over here to disable that. Then I will take this with me, open this up, and I think that should get us to the sigil. There we go. Anything over here?
You are learning, as is your purpose.
Ah, the shortcut.
But your choices must be your own. Therefore, I will not guide you, unless it is necessary.
Cool. Alright. The guards must be crazy. Quite a few guards in here. Whoa, okay. Let's be careful. It's not... Hopefully we won't die. This one's moving kind of a little slowly. stay here. I think this should be fine. Anything else over here? Okay, good. He went back. What a relief. Patience. Okay, good. Another one. Alright, well, let's go ahead and just take that for now. Let's do our juggling trick again. Grab that. And I am going to see what's over here. It looks like there's another thing there. This one will probably go all the way out that way. There we go. And let me grab this. Alright, so there we go. And run for it. Okay, that was a little nerve-wracking, but thankfully we made it out. And we've got, I think, only one more, if memory serves correctly, which I think is this way. We have kind of a big amphitheater here, as well as something holographic, not unlike the gates that we used to get over here.
When I was a little girl, one of our teachers, Mrs. Higgins, told us to make a time capsule. Write letters to the future, so one day we could remember what it was like to be children. I thought it was stupid, so I didn't do it, which I really regret. So, I guess I'm gonna make one now. Bury it in the archive instead of under a tree. I don't know if anybody will ever find it, but somehow it seems important to keep talking, to keep thinking, for as long as I can.
So the little text up there mentioned, when we opened this thing up, it mentioned that the lady who was talking was named Alexandra Drennan. And we saw somebody mention Alexandra as the young person that she was intimidated by earlier, when we were looking through the terminal in the first world. So I'm wondering if this is who that is. Interestingly enough, we've got a situation here where we've got this mine or drone trapped behind this gate, and then over here we've got a turret, but the turret, you can see right here, is currently disabled because the switch is set to the red setting. So I'm going to try doing is I'm going to see if this turret can actually kill the drone once we let it through. Let's see if that actually works. Aha! There we go. And also kills the turret too. Even though we've got this this set to the green setting. So we can now go through here and grab our sigil, which is great. And this is the first one of the box collection there. So that seems to be all there is, but remember we've got a star in this world. And if I remember correctly, the first stop that we have to make in getting this is over here in this puzzle. I'm trying to remember exactly how this is done. I'm going to have to look around, so just bear with me here for a minute. I think it's either somewhere over here or the next area. I guess it's not here. I thought this was another one of those ones that's hidden behind a bush, but I guess not. Alright, let's, oh right, you're still roaming around, I forgot about that. Let's just deactivate you for now. Oh! Whoa! I thought I had... Was I pointing that at that? I thought I was.
The guardians of this land may harm you, but do not resent them. For they are my servants, and they challenge you only so that your faith might be strengthened.
Alright, so first non-intentional death of the Let's Play here. I was hoping it would be a little bit longer before that happened, but sometimes you just forget what's connected to what, I guess. Okay, there we go. Alright. Oh, here we go. This opens up once you beat the puzzle. I was looking for this earlier, but I guess it doesn't open until you're actually done. So we can grab some keys here. Now this is actually the first time we've seen the key symbol. And we can use the ladder to just escape. So we gotta find a spot around here where we can use the keys. Doesn't look like it's in here. Let's just systematically go through everything. We'll start back where we bypass this whole area back here. Wait a minute, it's another terminal. Cool, so we can now do the part 2 of the certification program. Since all human beings are persons and some human beings have psychological capacities similar to animals, some animals are therefore persons. I'd say that's reasonable. A person is under no authority other than that to which they consent. Mostly true. The quality of life of persons ought to be maximized. Depends on by whom. That's a little vague, so I'm just gonna go with this. Value is discovered. I think value is inherent, so I will go with this. Persons deserve the talents they were born into. Man, these are pretty deep statements here. I'll just say yes. The liberty of persons ought to be maximized. I will actually say yes to that, because I definitely believe that. And value is created. Let's say yes to that. At least it can be. Alright, I'm sure there's some contradiction in there somewhere. Error.log. Cannot load archive. Milton John. That day I oft remember, when from sleep I first awaked and found myself reposed, under shade on flowers, much wondering where and what I was, whence thither brought, and how. Error, unknown error. I think that's an excerpt from Paradise Lost, if I'm not mistaken. The Human Machine.html. Topic number 3. One day you discover that you are not a human being, but a machine. Your life so far was real. No one controlled you or programmed you to behave in some specific way. Your physical and mental capacities are identical to those of an organic human being. But you were created in a lab. No one except you knows about this. Your family, your friends, they all think you are a regular human being like themselves. You could continue to live your life the way you have before. Nothing would change. How do you react? Pay specific attention to these questions. Does your concept of yourself change? Are you the same person you thought you were? Does your understanding of the world itself change? Or do you reveal the information to others, or do you keep it to yourself? Why? 1,500 to 2,000 words. The 26th is the final deadline. No extensions will be granted. Submit via email or... it looks like a school assignment. ARG Solutions. From Bob Rogkowski to 108 recipients. Subject GRARGH. All these calm people are driving me mad. Have they all suddenly turned into Buddha or something? I didn't know the world had such reserves of serenity. Though these latter-day Gautamas are at least being somewhat realistic. You know what's even worse? These paranoid nutters who are building bunkers and collecting guns. What are they going to do? Shoot? Though I have to admit, the overall response has been much better than I ever anticipated. To the point where I might be moved by the beauty of humanity if I wasn't such a grumpy old fart. This minority of total idiots is really messing up my final days. Anyway, the reason I'm writing this is because I refuse to believe in scenarios with absolutely no solutions. If we all put our heads together, we can figure something out. It'll be crazy, but crazy is better than dead. Crazy is what we do best on this planet. Indeed. Though what exactly was going on that required all of this, though? and what happened eventually. There's nothing here on this QR code, which is rather curious. I'm going to keep looking around. Let's just go this way for now. Usually if you see a terminal with like that blue and black base, that usually means it's a secret one. Separate from the... Oh, hey, what's this? It's a recording. Interesting. Why would that be around there? So this is that entire puzzle walled in there. What happens if we try going to one of those other islands? What?
And the words are everything. Where the words end, the world ends. You cannot go forward in an absence of space. Repeat. In the beginning.
Alright, I'm gonna go back. Turns out if you do keep going, you'll eventually get a rewind and go back to the start. And normally I would actually do this, but since I have the key in my possession, I don't want to risk losing it right now, so I'm just gonna... Aha, this looks promising. Gate. And there is a jammer in here, so somewhere around here, there is a blue... I gotta come up with a name for those things. A blue gate. That thing. A beam... What should we call that? It's gotta have a name, right? Here we go. Cool. Alright, well, I think we'll call it there for today, since we're done with this area. And next time, we'll move on to area number 3. Looks like there's at least 7 areas here in this world, plus whatever that is, and then that star area. But we'll take each one at a time. So next time we'll move on to World A3, but we'll do that in the next video. So once again, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and are liking this series so far, be sure to smash that like button. It really does let me know that I'm doing something right on the channel and you guys are enjoying the content. And either way, I will catch you on the flip side. So take care and I will see you then.